Alrighty, let's get started. Welcome. So happy to see everybody that's joined today. Super excited to be having this conversation today about CPA evolution. And I really want the candidates to get excited about CPA evolution. It is not a bad thing. It is not designed to stress you out even more than you probably already are. It's a great thing. And we're going to talk about the good, whatever you consider the bad, and everything else that comes with this change in the model of the CPA exam to CPA evolution. So again, welcome to this conversation today. I'm Nikki Winston. I love accounting, and I especially love helping candidates get ready for the CPA exam. So I put an About Me page in the ebook. So feel free to read that when you get ready. But just to capture all of that, like I said, I love accounting. I love being a CPA exam coach. I am born and raised in Cincinnati, love my city, currently based in Atlanta, but I coach candidates all over the globe. So it's been a lot going on as we are approaching this moment where CPA evolution is upon us. And we got some things to talk about today. So first, I'll give you a summary of what CPA evolution is and what it means for the accounting industry as a whole. Next, we'll talk about the format, the content changes, and I'll highlight for you the differences between the current blueprints and the CPA evolution blueprints. I'll pause for Q&A. So if you have questions about the CPA exam, current state, or CPA evolution, feel free to drop those in the chat and I'll get to those during Q&A. After that, we'll talk about the transition to CPA evolution and why this is important to you, not just to the candidates, but also to accounting professors, course providers, students, the future CPAs who will soon be eligible to sit, those of you who currently have credit for the CPA exam who might have to roll over to the CPA evolution model. Also for my peers, whoever else may be tuned in today. And when we wrap up, I'll share some links to resources that will help you as a CPA candidate on your journey, as well as an invitation to my private CPA candidate community, which I know some of y'all are already members, so appreciate that. Before we jump in, just a few more, just like housekeeping things. I want to keep this session high level. I don't want to dig into any specific topics because I want this to be an overview, and we'll go deeper into specific questions, things in the blueprints in the group coaching session. So this is a high level to keep it simple. I don't want to bombard you with too much information because I know that digesting this change is already a lot. So we're going to keep it light today. Drop your questions in the chat if you have any. I will save some time at the end for some live Q&A. If you want to come off mute, ask your questions, then we can definitely do that. But let's jump into CPA evolution. What is it? It's the new model for the CPA exam. The exam changes a few times a year. We know that whenever the new blueprints are published. And the purpose is to keep up with what's happening in business, in the world of business. I want to say this is the biggest change to the CPA exam since it went from the paper exam to the computer exam. It's funny because I remember when that was happening. I was an undergrad and it was a big deal. And the people who are CPAs from taking the paper exam always talk about like it took 2 days and they took all 4 sections at the same time. And I think you had to get a 50 or something on all 4 sections and how just stressful it was. And I'm like, okay, and now we got the computerized exam. And now here comes CPA evolution. So now I'm gonna be that person. Like I took the computerized exam when we had research questions and we had BEC and all this other stuff. So it's definitely been a lot leading up to this point to transition to CPA evolution. There's not a lot that's happening with FAR audit and reg. A couple of changes to be aware of, but a big part of the change is in the BEC section, and we'll dip into the specifics of that in a second. When you see the blueprints for CPA evolution, there are 6 blueprints. Don't be alarmed. You do not have to take 6 sections. There's still 4 exams, 4 sections of the exam that you'll have to pass. That's 3 core sections and 1 discipline section. With the discipline, though, there's 3 options for you to choose from as a candidate. So you choose to pass one of those 3. So that 1 plus the 3 core makes up the CPA evolution model. So I just want to forewarn y'all about that as y'all look at the blueprints and you're like, why are there 6 blueprints? It doesn't mean that you have to take 6 exams. You only take 4. So as I just mentioned, exam in the current state, we have audit, BEC, FAR, and reg. Audit is going to become part of the core of CPA evolution, one of the 3 core areas. BEC, I'll circle back to BEC in a minute. FAR is also going to become part of the core of CPA evolution, and so is reg. BEC is not a section on CPA evolution. Instead, a lot of the content from BEC has been dispersed, if you will, into these 3 discipline areas that you can choose from. So either tax compliance and planning, business analysis and reporting, or IT and controls. And before we jump into looking at the blueprints, I want to make sure that y'all understand this particular page that I'm on right now, because understanding this page I'm on right now, because what this page means is after you pass these 3 core sections plus 1 of the discipline sections, you can apply to get your CPA license. Your license doesn't have your scores or your discipline or anything else on the front of it. Your license is just as good as anybody else's. So if you take the 3 core sections past that, and then you decide that you want to go into tax, so you take the tax discipline and you pass that section, you get your license. You can go and practice tax if you want to. You could also go and practice audit or internal control or GL accounting. It doesn't limit you to one space in the accounting industry just because you chose that as your discipline. So I want y'all to be aware of that. If you have questions about that or you want to talk through that some more, put your questions in the chat and then I'll answer those during the Q&A. But real quick, I want to show y'all some differences, some similarities and some differences between the blueprint as we know it right now and what the blueprint will look like in CPA evolution. So this top part is the current blueprint for FAR. There are 4 sections: the framework, standard setting, financial reporting, financial statement accounts, transactions, and then governmental. The blueprint for CPA evolution, pretty much the same: financial reporting, some balance sheet accounts, some transactions. You will notice that governmental is not there. State and local governments is not there. That doesn't mean that it's gone. I'll show you where it is in a second. So that's FAR, old and new. Next up is reg. So current blueprint, ethics, responsibilities, federal tax rules. Then we get into business law, which is one of my favorite areas. And then the next 3, taxation, property, transactions, individuals and entities. Looking at the reg blueprint for CPA evolution, pretty much the same. ethics, procedures, business law, taxation of those three areas, the transactions, individuals, and entities. So not much change there. Audit, same story. Not a whole lot has changed. Same areas, you're going through the same process. What the ethics, the responsibilities, assessing the risk, developing the response, performing the procedures, issuing the audit report. Same thing between the old and the new. Now, BEC, as we know it today. And BEC is one of my favorite sections. And it's funny because the 5 areas are not related at all. ERM, internal controls, then you go to economics, then financial management, then IT, then ops management. Not related at all. And so if there was a section that was going to be split up, this section to me makes the most sense to create or break down into disciplines, because there's so many different things that are going on here. What you learn about internal controls in area 1 has nothing to do with you learning economics or you learning ops management. So this is what I don't want to call it the BEC section, but these are the 3 discipline areas, and you'll see these blueprints as part of the CPA Evolution blueprints. So reg, audit, FAR, not a whole lot has changed. What did change is BEC is no more on CPA Evolution, and a lot of that content has been dispersed into these other 3 areas. The other thing I want you to notice is, remember when we saw governmental was not part of the FAR blueprint for CPA Evolution? Well, it's part of business analysis and reporting. So if you choose business analysis and reporting as your discipline with CPA Evolution, you will have to know the state and local government piece of accounting. So I think that's a good time to pause and do some CPA candidate Q&A. I got a couple questions in advance that I will ask, but that I'll answer, but I'll also check the chat as well. But let me sip my tea real quick. Before we even get there, I got 16 or 17 questions in advance about CPA Evolution. And out of those 16, 14 of those were this question. So I figured this was the best question to start with that everybody wants to know is, if I have credits right now for the current CPA exam, do I get credit? Does my credit transfer to Evolution? Do I have to retake? What's going on? So I put this graphic here to try to make it as simple to explain. But basically, what the examiners tried to do was make this transition as simple as possible for candidates. So if you have credit right now for audit, for example, and it's not expiring in 2024, then you will have credit for the audit section of CPA Evolution, which is part of the core. And then that's how the transition plan works. If you have credit for FAR right now and you're going to be spilling over to CPA Evolution, then you will have credit for that core FAR section on the exam. Same thing with reg. The only difference is BEC. If you have credit for BEC going into CPA Evolution, then your credit will become your discipline, whatever discipline that you choose. So wanted to make that clear for y'all. The window has not changed as far as getting credit for all 4 sections. You still have 18 months to get all 4 sections. So I wanted to make that clear. I have another question that I got in advance, but let me check the chat real quick to see if there are any questions. in there. Not at the moment. So let's keep going. Another question that I got, where is it? Why is CPA evolution even happening? Why does the CPA exam have to get harder? So, simple explanation, complex execution. And if we think about how businesses have evolved just over the last few years, right? Take a restaurant, for example. Pre pandemic, you could have had a restaurant that was overwhelmed with customers. And then during the pandemic, and maybe even after, the restaurants are trying to figure out how to get people into the restaurants or how do they get their food to people. So they jump on the food delivery bandwagon. So now you have another revenue stream, but you have to pivot the way that you do business because now you have to factor in the third parties. You have to look at quality. You have to look at data protection so that as you're transacting with this third party, you're not giving away customer information that you shouldn't be, or just so many other things that operationally change with the way a company does business. So the risk and controls environment changes, how you present your financials changes, the disclosures you might have to provide with your financials also changes. So why is this happening? Because the exam, the credential, the CPA credential, to keep its relevance and value has to keep up with what's happening in practice today, even with the technology. So you'll see a lot more data analysis in the exam, but you'll see technology, bits and pieces of technology intermingle throughout the exam. So the purpose is to keep up with the ever-changing environment and make sure that a newly licensed CPA is not drowning when they step in the door of a new company or open their own business, and because they don't know what's happening today. It's more than debits and credits to be in a CPA. And CPA evolution doesn't necessarily mean that the CPA exam is harder, right? Part of passing the exam is understanding what's going on. And I use a lot of analogies. One of the ones I think of with accountants is is news reporters. So the people on the news are telling us a story, right? They had to do some research, ask some questions, get information, validate the information they get, and then craft this story in a way that it's a crisp story, and it's something that an audience can understand. Why it happened, what happened, and what do you recommend based on what you're seeing is the approach of an accountant. And so candidates approach the CPA exam with this textbook mentality that we all adopted for those 4 or 5 years while we were in undergrad, right? Read the chapters, come to the lectures, do practice problems, take the real exam. Then there's this misconception that we have to have all of the right answers when the truth is we don't. You have to know how to find the answers, how to leverage your professional judgment to tell a business story, and then make the recommendations that your stakeholders rely on to make decisions. So it's not really harder. It's understanding what's going on and being relevant and understanding business and what happened in business is what grounded me when I was studying for the CPA exam. It helped with things I was learning about in my course materials when I was reading or watching something like Squawk Box. They helped it make more sense. And so getting outside of your course materials, reading, paying attention to news releases and press releases that companies are doing, it's important. It's not just about textbook learning. You actually have to get out and see it in real life and in practice. So it's not that it's harder. It's evolving to stay current and relevant with the business environment. So let's move on real quick to transitioning, the whole process of moving from the current exam to CPA evolution. The CPA exam, and this is how I see it, is moving away from the what and the where to the why and the how. And right now on the exam, there are research questions, and you're given this scenario. You have to find the specific guidance that relates to that scenario. So it might be, I don't know, ASC 840 10. And that's the answer. So you know what the guidance is, you know how to find it, right? And we can leverage technology, AI, to do transactional things like find guidance, book debits and credits. And again, you'll see that technology aspect just throughout all the sections of the CPA exam. But when we think about the why and the how, and going back to that research question, ASC dash, what did I say, 840 10, why is that the standard that's relevant to the scenario? Why is this the right guidance? And how do you go forward with that? So that's the example of being able to find it. Okay, cool. You can find it. You can search the authoritative literature to find things. But can you interpret it, and can you use it? And do you know what it means? And that's what the exam is moving towards. It's that whole, in corporate accounting, my question is, so what? We're doing A, B, and C. So what? What does it mean? How does it make us better, faster, stronger as an accounting team? How does it make our stakeholders make better decisions? Is the value that we bring as CPAs. Not so much we can find it or we can point to where it is, but what does it mean? And so it's been a couple years at least since we have started even talking about CPA evolution. And when I think about all of the parties involved, right? So there's NASBA, there's the AICPA, state societies, accounting programs, professors, so the colleges and universities, employers, practitioners. The transition to CPA evolution created some light bulb moments for everybody that I just mentioned. So the colleges and universities, professors have to think about their accounting programs and asking themselves, is my curriculum aligned with the CPA exam? What courses do we need to add or remove or refine so that we can make sure our students are set up for success for the exam and for their accounting careers? The employers, they have to understand and be aware of the challenges that they faced in business. So, prime example, if a company is on an acquiring spree and they've swept up 3 or 4 companies in the last 18 months, who booked those journal entries? Did the accounting team know how to do that M&A accounting? Because it's outside of the scope of their normal month-end close, general ledger type of work. Is there somebody on that team that knows how to do that? Or did the company have to bring in some outside consultants? So spending money when you already have a staff, but they don't have the technical acumen to be able to get things done outside of the norm. Another question, are your payroll entries correct? Let me go back to this Q&A page. So this picture right here is the whiteboard from my office from years ago, way back in 2017. And what was happening is I brought my team in there and we sat down and we whiteboarded and T accounted out the payroll transactions because the entries were incorrect. And even then, that was 2017. My question was, why are we even booking debits and credits instead of getting a feed from the payroll provider that goes right into our GL? And we don't even have to deal with this. So again, technology as part of the accounting industry, but also it was a good exercise because what if we didn't have technology, or what if the systems are down and we still have to get this done? Do you still understand without the technology doing it for you, what's going on. So firms, corporations have to know what's going on in their business and know what their deficiencies are in order for them to weigh in on what the CPA exam model needs to look like, because they can share what they've been lacking, the skill sets that they need that they're not getting from CPAs. And then that feedback will be incorporated into the exam. Practitioners, firm owners, CFOs, accounting leaders like myself provided our input. Like I said, we know what we need, and we hope that between undergrad programs and exam prep that newly licensed CPAs can hit the ground running with and fill some of these knowledge gaps, because we don't want licensed CPAs that pass the CPA exam that don't know how to reconcile an operating account. So I'm happy to see the exam move away from the what and the where to the why and the how. And keep in mind a few things. Accountants, even though this is not an easy journey, it is so worth it. CPAs, accountants, we get paid for what we know. Machines and technology complement what we do, but they can't replace what we do. And being a CPA is everything. You have a unique, monetizable skill set. People know what you have to go through to be a CPA. And so your opinion and your credential is respected. You also have so many career options that you can hop in and out of at any time. Like I said earlier, just because you choose the tax discipline doesn't mean that you are limited to only tax. If you want to do tax for a few years and then hop over to internal controls, or maybe do some assurance or attestation services or GL accounting. I love GL accounting. You have options. If you want to go out and open up your own shop and do taxes or do consulting or whatever you choose to do, you have so many career options. So accounting is a great place to be. I don't understand the things that we've been seeing about pipeline issues and stuff like that, but that's another conversation for another day. And of course, you have support and guidance for the CPA exam with me, and other resources, but you definitely have it with me. Another thing I want to say before I move on to the resources and wrapping up is that what I'm hoping comes out of this move to CPA Evolution is a renewed feeling of enthusiasm for the accounting industry, as well as a deeper appreciation for what we do as practitioners. And another thing, I said it earlier, I want to say it again. I know that we have professors and other course providers, my peers and candidates and everybody on this call, but I want to talk specifically to the candidates right now. I need y'all to get excited about the CPA exam, whether it's the current CPA exam or CPA Evolution. We have heard ad nauseum about pipeline problems, about declining enrollment in accounting programs, and how candidates are nervous, afraid, and stressed about the CPA exam. I need y'all to get excited. Accounting is the path that you've chosen for your career, right? So why wouldn't you want to get happy and hyped up about that? Excited that in many circumstances you will be the glue as the accountant that connects different functions of a business. Every move, every decision that a company makes has an accounting impact. And so you will have the expertise to tell the story of a business through its numbers. So people want to hear what you have to say. The sales team, the marketing team, the IT team, the executives, all the departments want to know, what am I spending? Am I over budget? Do I have flexibility to expand or do projects or hire more people? So you have the intel as the accountant, as the CPA, to be an important business partner at any company that you go into. But it's up to you to put in the work, to learn, to ask questions, and develop that skill set so that you can be the best at your job. So, as you study and you prepare to take the CPA exam, again, current state or evolution, this is practice for you. All of the stuff that you're learning, people stress the whole time about studying for the exam. And then once they pass, they go to work and they're so green. They don't know what to do. They don't know where to start. Like I said, don't be the CPA who doesn't know how to reconcile a bank account. And I talked about those light bulb moments that everybody experienced, the firms, the professors, the practitioners. As candidates, this new CPA exam model gives you something to think about from a career perspective. As you choose your discipline, what do you want to do? I just went through the many options that you have as an accountant, and those options can be overwhelming, public or industry or tax or this or this or that. So at a minimum, CPA Evolution is giving you a look at putting career options in perspective. If you want to do tax, do tax. If you want to switch it up later, switch it up later. But I want you to dig deep and find the motivation, the excitement to start this journey of not only becoming a CPA, but to really be impactful in the industry. A lot of you on this call, we need you in the industry. If you are taking the exam now and you have some credits and you still need to pass, or if you're a student graduating in the next couple years and you're definitely going to be part of CPA Evolution. The one thing I want to say before I forget, it just popped in my mind, is that as of December 31st, 2023, the current exam, that's it. On January 1st, it cuts straight over to CPA Evolution. So you will not be able to take the current exam on January 1st. It cuts off. It's like it shuts off and CPA Evolution turns on. So if you don't have all your credits by December 31st, keep going, even if it means you have to transition over to CPA Evolution, because as you just saw, as I just talked about, there's not a lot of things that have changed to where you have to rethink whether or not you want to take it. You still have to learn it one way or the other. Your license is still the same. It's going to be valid like anybody else's license. So get excited, dig deep, and find that motivation. So here's some resources that I put together for you all to have just as you continue to get ready for exams and look for guidance and coaching and some other resources. So both sets of blueprints are here. CPA Evolution for Candidates is a page that was set up for candidates to really go deeper into what it means. What's it going to look like for you? What does CPA Evolution mean for your exam journey? There's also some videos, I think some webinars, some FAQs and things that that are there. Let me see if I can just open it for y'all. So here's what the CPA Evolution site looks like. So there's a whole section for just an overview of the model, recap of a lot of things that I just talked about, some FAQs, and then there's the student and candidates section. This is a good video to watch, just some things to know about evolution, how it came to be, what happens with your credits, which is what I talked about earlier. This is the policy on your credits transferring over. So a lot of good information that a lot of good information that is on that screen. So let me go back to sharing real quick. Okay. So free resources, my virtual classroom, which I will give y'all a quick rundown of. This is just a place online where I put all of my tutorials, past group coaching sessions, do's and don'ts, exam tips, how to answer questions. All of that is here in this page. This is the ebook that I'm sharing now. It's available for you to download and reference at your leisure in the virtual classroom. There's also blueprint changes for the existing exam. So if you're still taking the current version of the CPA exam, this post sums up what those are. And then here's a video of how to actually use the blueprints to help you study. If you've ever said, what's on the CPA exam, or what topic should I focus on? This is what this video is for. Why you're not passing, coaching session replay. Another few minutes that I spent talking about dealing with exam anxiety and how to find mentors, staying motivated, do's and don'ts, all that good stuff. So I update this every month. We also have group coaching sessions that, let me go back there. I keep trying to flip back and I keep unsharing instead. So there's also group coaching sessions that you can sign up for. It's very similar to the conversation we had today. The difference is I spend about half the time talking, and the other half is for the candidates to get in the hot seat and basically just tell me all about their CPA exam problems, work through some specific topics they might be struggling with. And really that conversation is good in a group setting because the other candidates who are part of the conversation can get some help and some advice as well. So I'm gonna stop talking because I can talk about this all day. A few more important things. First, please give me 30 seconds of your time and complete this survey. Pull out your phone, take a picture of the QR code. You can do it right now or whenever we wrap up, but it's only 3 questions. It takes less than 30 seconds. I'm an accountant and I'm an introvert and I'm on camera. So I need to know if this session was helpful for y'all. If it was, great, thank you. Let me know that in the survey and I'll continue to do more of these sessions for y'all. And if you download the ebook, you can also click this link and it'll take you to it as well. But I'll leave it up for a minute to give y'all a second to pull out your phone, take a picture of this QR code so that you can take this 30-second survey for me. Okay, secondly, I'm inviting the candidates here today to join the Audacious Accountants community. What is the Audacious Accountants community? So glad you asked. It's a space I created for future CPAs and accounting professionals to get the career development that you didn't know that you needed. Do you have the audacity to be a dope-ass accountant? That's how this community came about. That was the question I asked myself. So it's from my desire to challenge accountants, whether you're a student, a candidate, a seasoned accounting professional. It's my challenge to you to do better and be better. So it's free to join. You can click any of these links here. I just kind of walked you through what some of the features are there. If you want to dig into more specific sections, topics, you're welcome to request one-on-one coaching sessions with me as well. You can find that in the virtual classroom. If you have been taking the CPA exam for a long time, you can't seem to pass, you've lost motivation, you don't have time, you're a working parent, and you just really can't get all 4 credits at the same time, you're not even close to passing exams, and let's have a conversation. I feel you. I've been there. I've done that. And there is a way for you to come out successful on the other side. So that is it. That is it. I'm glad to have done this session today. I'm going to put this survey back up because I want to make sure y'all take this. Y'all take a snapshot and answer these 3 questions for me. But thank you all for being here. I hope that this was super helpful for you. There's a lot of information that NASBA and the state societies and everybody's been sharing about CPA evolution. So I wanted to consolidate all of that information here today so that you have it in one place, as well as share with you the links and the resources that on your way. So if you have any other questions, you can email them to me, cpaexam@winstoncpagroup.com. You can also, y'all can continue to message me on LinkedIn as well. I'm on there most days. Also, make sure you check out the virtual classroom, get some free tutorials and stuff over there. You can also go there and download this ebook that I walked through today if you want to download it or print it and make notes on it and stuff like that. So thank you all again for being here. Have an amazing day. As you study, make sure that you make the time to take brain breaks, to rest, to celebrate all of your wins, big and small. So I will talk to y'all soon, and y'all have a great day.